All right. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
How's it going? So are you guys, how are you guys enjoying the summit so far? Are you finding any of this information helpful? Getting some good ideas, hopefully, because with AI and Copilot, there's the amount of use cases they're infinite. And so I'm hoping that like as you're learning more and more and you kind of see like art of possible and the type of things that you can do with it, that you're thinking of what is my use case, what is the challenge that I have to face, right? And what's not maybe the use case for my role, for my agency, what's a big challenge we as an agency face, or what's an agent what my colleagues, maybe my colleagues that are in my team. So I'm hoping that as you see more and more kind of the type of things that you can do, think about yourself, what your own use case. Each individual role has its own individual use case because each person does something totally different. And so, but there's a lot of great use cases with Copilot here. I know in this particular session we're going to talk about Planner, but I'm definitely going to put some Copilot into it as well because this is an AI summit. But NCDIT wanted us to focus on Planner just because it is included in your G5 license. It is a great tool. I'm gonna add a little bit of Copilot into it as well. Back to my. And so just to introduce myself, my name is Josh Meredith. I'm a cloud solution architect for Microsoft. And I've been working with the state of North Carolina for over 5 years now. I've been designated to you all your agencies. I mostly work with the giant tenant that has 60,000 employees on it and a lot of different agencies. Most of you are probably belong to that particular tenant. I work with NCDIT a lot. I've done a multitude of security optimization assessments for you guys to increase your security posture, help you with data protection. My background has been everything Microsoft Teams, cybersecurity, data protection, Purview. Those are the types of things that I work in as far as Microsoft 365. Now I'm an M365 Copilot CSA. My manager asked me last year. She said, "Do you want to do Copilot?" I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And so now I primarily focus on Copilot. I have a background in a lot of things in Microsoft 365, and my job is to help you crush your business objectives using AI, using Microsoft 365. I'm from Austin, Texas. I love jet surfing. I have a motorized surfboard called a jet surf, and I'm often out on the lake carving it out. That's my favorite. That's my favorite activity to do. I also love smoking barbecue. I have a Traeger smoker. Smoke all the things all the time. That's my dad and my son eating pork ribs. I also love being in the ocean. That's my dog Chance, my son Enoch, and those are some things that I do outside of out of work. And so for this particular session right here, NCDIT wanted us to cover Planner. How many of you are using Planner right now? Are any of you using it? Okay, so some of you, so a lot of you who are not using it have no idea what it is. That's definitely going to be, this is going to be a very basic class. So I can see some of you virtually are using it as well. And but Planner is a great tool to help with projects. How many of you are involved in like projects involving multiple people? Okay, most all of you. Okay, good. This is a tool for you. So we're going to cover a lot of basics. We're also going to cover things like creating a plan from Microsoft Teams. This is something that I want you to do using Copilot. Copilot, you can build a plan. One of the cool things about Copilot I want you to think about is like you can have a meeting. You can turn that meeting into whatever you want. You could turn it into a policy. You could turn it into a report. You could turn it into an RFP. You could turn it into an SOP, turn it into a training document, but you can also turn it into a project plan. That was one of the demonstrations that I gave when I did the Word demonstration in a couple of classes. I'll show you how you can do it here in Teams, but you can automate that process. So when you have a meeting, turn on transcription. Once you turn on transcription, you can turn that into whatever you want. And those are kind of use cases I want you to think about with Copilot. I want you to think about Like, let's just have a meeting about it, hash out, all make our decisions, hash out what the plan of attack is, what's going to be our task list. Bang, you can just turn that into a project plan and turn that into a PowerPoint presentation, present it to your senior leadership. There you go. It's going to automate all those different types of processes for you. And so those kind of things I want you to think about. And we'll also talk about like some of just the different basic structures that you have in Plan View, like boards and schedules, charts, and just some of the basics that you can do in Planner, such as buckets, tasks, and checklists and labels. So Planner is it's a project tool, right? It's a work management tool. Oftentimes we're in projects. We have to collaborate on projects. We have teams. People have different tasks. They have certain things that we have to accomplish. Certain tasks might have to come before others. But you can use it. You can use it to manage these tasks. To be honest, you can create a plan in just a few clicks. I highly recommend using Planner in Teams. This is what I'm going to show you guys. It's, you can create a plan on your own, but it's a lot better because how many of you are collaborating in Teams right now with pretty much most all of you, right? We're already in Teams. You're already like using channel chats. You already have your crew, your squad together. Use that same framework, and you can build a team inside of Teams. That's the best place that I recommend doing it. But what's so important is like everyone has to stay in sync, right? Staying in sync. How many, herding the cats is the hardest thing, right? It seems like. And so Planner can help you to do with it, and you can do it from anywhere. You can use your mobile app. You can use the Teams app. You can use your laptop. So it's something that can be done anywhere. Depending on like the type of project that you're doing, may require different tools. We have tasks, or also known as to do. If you want to create just a task list for yourself, like let's say it's just you're not really collaborating with anybody, that's probably going to be better served in tasks, or what used to be called to do. And you just need to create a list for yourself. In that scenario, I recommend to do or task. Now, if you're needing to if you create a team and you have a project that you're doing with a group of people, that's really where Planner. And so Planner is kind of here in like the medium level, and it's pretty much like, anyone ever use MS Project? Some of you. It's like Project, but a lot simpler to deploy, a lot easier to use, and just quicker. Right? It's designed just to be able to accomplish things quicker. And this is really where Planner is really going to help you out. It's going to be where those kind of medium complexity type projects, that like Department of Transportation, I'm sure uses Project because you've got, construction, when you have those really more complicated projects, that's really where Project, and that's where we can see if the level of complexity is high, you probably want to consider MS Project to be. But we're talking about Planner. Planner is really just kind of the medium. It's probably going to be like the majority because for a lot of different projects, you essentially just have tasks. You want to be able to stay on those particular tasks, and so Planner is really going to be the tool that you would use in that. So from here, we're going to show you how to create a plan from Teams using Copilot. And if I go to, let's see here. Okay. So one of the things that I always like to show people is Teams meeting recap. And so here we have a recap. So we have a meeting. This meeting was actually our Microsoft meeting that we had to plan this whole summit, this innovation summit. And so when you have a meeting, be sure to turn on transcription. That's one thing that's really key. You got to turn on transcription in order to use Copilot for that particular meeting. But one of the things I can do is I can go into recap here, and whether or not, maybe I didn't even attend the meeting. Ever got double booked for a meeting? That ever happened? You get, your schedule looks like Lego blocks or Tetris, and you were double booked. Even if I wasn't able to attend this meeting, I can go and look at the recap. I can see all the different things that were discussed in this particular meeting. And not only that, but what the great thing that I think is awesome about Copilot, Copilot can find your follow-up tasks. And it's able to identify that, hey, this is the thing we need to get done. Here's the things that we discussed in this particular meeting, but what are the follow-up tasks that we need to do with it? This is one of the beautiful things I think about a large language model, is just be able to look at that transcript, identify the task, and even it tries to, identify the person who is essentially assigned to that task. Okay, so cool. We have our meeting. We discussed what we need to do. Now we need to turn this into a project, right? This is now going to be turned into a project. This is kind of like the way I want you guys to think about. So if you get a Copilot license, by the way, how many here have a Copilot M365 Copilot license? Just a few of you. Okay. All right, cool. So these are kind of things I want you to think about. So you have one too, right?
How do you get one?
Oh, that was my question too.
Ask your manager, I guess, like whatever your channels are for your to request software. Right now, I don't know if you're on the main NCDIT tenant or if you have your own tenant. I know a couple of you we have some agencies that have their own tenant. I think the majority of you are probably on the main, I call it the NCDIT tenant, the one the NCDIT manages. But yeah, whoever through your agency, I'd say ask your manager is what I would say to ask, but whatever means as far as procurement that you can get. Once you have the license, then you can do some of the things that I've shown with you. This is the Copilot piece of it, but the planner piece of it, you probably already have a license. So here we have, we'll see how fast this is going to run here. So I've got my meeting, and so now I want to turn this into a project plan. So I'm going to show you some prompt engineering here, how to do that. And so in this case, I'm going to say summarize the key action items, owners, and deadlines from this Teams meeting transcript, organize them into a structured plan that can be copied into Microsoft Planner. I'm telling Copilot what it is that I want to accomplish. I'm telling it, I want to take this transcript, I want to put this in a format for Microsoft Planner, and I'm going to show you what works in GCC, because it's a little different in commercial. Most of y'all are in GCC. With each task, including title, description, assigned person, due date, and priority level, format the output in a table of checklist for easy transfer. One of the things I also like is so I'll go ahead and run this. It's been kind of slow. If it's too slow, I'll just look at, I've got it in the history here. So now what it's going to do is, we told it, okay, I want to, I told it what I wanted to accomplish, and there we go. It's getting our table, and it's going to format this in a table. Hopefully this is not. This is key right here, right? So we have, with our prompt engineering, you want to tell Copilot first, you want to be objective, right? You want to tell it what it is that you want to accomplish. You want to tell it what the format that it's going to be in. And that format is going to be in, for Microsoft Planner. And so it's going to create these tables based on these particular tasks and go ahead and format it in that way. And I like to do a live demo just because I want you all to see it live. It's probably, the Wi-Fi is kind of slow here. So a lot of times it's going to affect when I'm doing a live demo comparatively when I'm at home with my Google Fiber. So we'll go ahead and let it complete these tables here. We'll see. Now, another thing too is Planner can import Excel files. So if you have something that's already in an Excel format, you want to try to automate the process of putting that into a plan, you can do that. And let's see, here we go. Okay, finally. And so what I can do is I can open this in Excel, and it's going to, and here we have our plan here. Actually, it's gonna. And this is what it's going to output. So it's going to output the title, it's going to have the description, it's going to have our due date. Now, the first thing, once you have the output of this particular, hold on, let me move this out of the way. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to take that Excel file, and you're going to want to put it in a team, right? So I have this NC. It's hard for me to see it there. Innovation plan. I've got my plan. What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to take that Excel file and I want to dump it right into the file section of my team. And here's my plan right there. And I need to go ahead and create a new plan. So I'm just going to go here and we're going to do planner. And I'm going to create a tab in Teams. This is the way I recommend doing this. Are y'all familiar with Teams and how to manage members in a team? Y'all are familiar with that. So we already got our team created. And then I'm just going to click save. Okay. And so I'm going to go and create it. So what I want to do is go ahead and I'm going to create a new plan. And I'm just going to do basic. I'm not going to do one of the, and so in this case, I'm going to call it NC Summit. And I'm going to give it a name, and it's going to go ahead and create the plan. Now, the cool thing is if you're doing it in Teams, it's already going to add all of the members, all the people that are members of the teams now have access to this particular plan. And this is where you want to use Planner. Planner is designed to be a collaborative tool that you're going to use with a particular team. Now, what I can do is I can use Power Automate. And sorry, there's a delay here, so it's just really difficult for me to see. So what I can do is I can use Power Automate here, and I'm not going to spend too much time in Power Automate to show you how to do this. But let me just do refresh here. Currently right now in GCC, if you want to be able to take an Excel file and just turn it into a plan, you have to use Power Automate. If you have a G5 license, you can do that, but you're essentially just saying manually trigger this flow. I'm going to list my rows in this particular table, and then I'm going to select my Excel file. And so next I need to just select the plan, and I'm just going to go to and select the plan that I just created here, which is NC Summit. And then I can just go ahead and click test. And let's see. Yeah, I want to do manually. Save a test. And so there we go. So now my Power Automate is just going to go ahead and take the Excel file and it's going to create all the tasks in a plan. Let's see here. Let's see, hit continue. Now you can go ahead and you can just, once you create a Power Automate like this, you can just, if you create a new Excel file, I want to do run now. Your flow started. Okay. So it started. Okay. It ran successfully. So now if I go back into Teams, I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this. And if I go to, I'm going to go up to Teams here. I'm going to go to my NC Summit plan. There I go. I have my tasks. Yep, there we go. Okay, cool. So then I have all my tasks listed in there. Now you think like, how long would that normally take, right? To be able to automate. Now, one thing that I do have to do is I would have to put in the descriptions. For some reason, Power Automate doesn't have that capability. But this is something you can do right now in GCC is use Power Automate, create your plan, you have a meeting, Copilot, Excel file, Power Automate, Planner, right? I call that pipeline, Copilot or M365 pipeline. So here we have it. It takes us to our standard board view right here, but we have a multitude of different views. So I could go ahead and put it in grid view. And in grid view, you can see it automatically populated the due date. In this case, now I need to go ahead and make assignments for it. And I can quickly add assignments here. I can go ahead and say, yep, Cindy, you need to do this. And then now, if you could do this in Power Automate, but it's a little bit difficult. I find that in GCC, it's a lot easier. I need Darth Vader. He's got to do the room setup for the attendee list. I need to assign that to Jim Morrison. And so as you can see, like if I'm looking at it I have different views that I can look at it where I can go ahead and assign these to different people as well. So let's say I just assigned a task to Cindy Lauper. What's going to happen is Cindy Lauper is going to get a notification. So if I switch this to Cindy Lauper and then I go to email, and I click on my inbox here, Cindy Lauper should now have, do I need to refresh this? I don't think I should have to refresh this. But let's go ahead and refresh this anyway. So now that I've assigned something to Cindy, she's gonna get an email letting her know that she has been assigned a task. And so what Cindy can do is say, oh, yeah, somebody assigned this task to me. I can see that the administrator assigned this task. So I'm going to go ahead and click open in browser. If I do open in Teams, it'll open in my Teams client, but my Teams client is signed into my Microsoft account. So I want to do open in browser. Here we go. And it's going to go and it's going to load up that task. And then this essentially is the task view. There's a number of different options here. One of the things I can do is I have a thing called labels. You can create custom labels. The labels could be whatever, any kind of category that you want, right? Oftentimes these tasks could be, maybe it's categorized by a division, a department. It's categorized by an application. It's categorized by a certain importance. Whatever, you have the same way that you have in Outlook that you have labels. Think of it like the same way. It's just a way of like organizing and classifying. I can customize whichever one I want, or I can put which label I want. So maybe you can set up these types of things as well. You also have buckets. And so I haven't created any buckets yet because I just created my plan. But a bucket is also another way of classifying. Think of it like as a container that certain tasks may fall into. That container could be different divisions. It could be different departments. It could be pre-plan. It could be execute. It could be different phases of the project. It's just whatever way. It's just a way to organize your task and put it into a specific type of category as well. We haven't created buckets yet, but we'll do that here in a second. The other thing too is I can say that, maybe if I went ahead, we have the technical setup for virtual agents. You can set your progress here, and here we can see that the progress is going to be based on either not started, in progress, or completed. This is all going to populate to our reporting system that I'll show you here in a minute. But Cindy just got this particular task. Maybe she started working on it, so she's going to go ahead and mark this as progress as well. The other thing that you can do as well is you can put in the level of priority here, if it's something urgent, if it's something important. And so what this does is it helps let's say if you're the manager and you're the one monitoring this particular project and you want to look at certain tasks, or maybe you're the project manager, this is all going to affect different filtering when it comes into the reports. And so, which I'll show you here in a minute. We can also put in a start time. Now, we could have gotten the start time from Copilot if we'd have said start time in the meeting, blah, blah, blah. You could actually just pull it right from the meeting, and could have made a column for that, but we didn't necessarily create a start time. But I'm just going to go ahead and,
If you're with a life cycle with starting and they would Renner be able to identify that?
Yep. Yeah, as long as, so if you have, if in your prompts you say, and this is going from Copilot, or you can just put it in Excel either way. But if your prompt is like identify the start date and the due date, which I think it was in the prompt, there just wasn't any start dates identified in the meeting, so it just was blank. But yeah, if you use the prompt that I use there, if you use say, identify the start date, identify the due date, and populate that into it, and you put that in your prompt, Copilot will populate that into the Excel file, and then Excel will just create. In fact, my Excel file, if I go back to it, my Excel file did have it. It did have the start date. Oh no, it didn't. Maybe not. Okay, but yeah, if I would have put that in my prompt, then it would identify it, and I can put that as a column in there.
Now, does it sync with calendar?
It can, yeah. So good question. So the planner calendar is going to automatically sync to the M365 group calendar, but all you got to do is just sync that calendar to your calendar. There you go.
Okay.
So it's a planner is built in M3. It's an M365 group. And so if you don't know an M365 group, every team, like a Microsoft team, is using an M365 group. That M365 group is like in the back end, that's handling the access control. It's creating a calendar. So initially that plan is going to live in that calendar, but then you can just go to that calendar in Outlook and sync it to your calendar, and there you go. So now you've got it synced to your calendar. Do you have a question?
So does N365 need total rights to all the calendars to do this, or only to this?
It's scoped to the group because it's a scoped team, right? So a team is you only have access to the teams you have access. So it's only, you have to be added as a member or an owner of that team or that plan in order to access it.
One more question. We asked for task assignments also in our list. It did give us in the Excel, but didn't carry over in plan.
Correct, yeah, because the flow or the Power Automate doesn't have a place to put that in the notes. Yeah, it's a limitation of Planner, or sorry, Power Automate. Yeah, so in this actual use case in the real world, so like I can see that this is technical setup for virtual assistants. I would have to go to the Excel file. If I go here, this one, technical virtual assistant. So if I go this one, is that right? Yeah. So if I copy this and then I flip over to Cindy here, I would have to manually paste in it. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that automatically, but it still speeds up the process as well. Let's see here. So we have a start date, we have a due date. That, of course, Cindy could change this if she wants to. You also have, you can decide if it's something that you want to repeat, if it's something that you do daily. Do you work on a team where you have a repeated task that you have to do all the time, or something every week? You have, by using Planner, you have this thing that can keep you on your task. For this particular project, because we're just doing this, innovation summit is not something that we do all day, every day. It's not necessarily something that is to repeat. The other thing too is you can add a checklist, which I think is really handy. Like you can add sub-tasks within this tasks. So, I could say, order lunch, maybe, let's see, the technical for the virtual, get a script. So I can add multiple little subtasks to it. And then as I do that particular task, I can go ahead and strike it off the list. Maybe oftentimes there's subtasks to actually accomplish this main particular task until I can go up here and mark the progress as complete. But I can also add attachments to as well. I can say from a team file, if I do a team file, it's automatically going to go to show the channels in my team, and I can just go and select my file, and I can add different attachments. Let's see, is it selected? And I can add in attachments here. I can even if I want to actually show it on the card, these are adaptive cards that it can show. And I can also put in comments too as well. And so from here, it's going to, another thing too is I can copy a task. I can move a task. So move a task, if I wanted to move this task to like a different bucket, I could do this as well. Maybe I want to copy the link to the task and I can also delete it. So I have even more options that that I can do to this particular task in here as well. Okay, so Cindy started her task and it's in progress right now. And then if I go to, let's see, going back to my plan here. So this is the list view. And you can see like a lot of the same stuff that I can already do in the task, I can do also. But here we have like we have different views that we can do. Here we have a board view. And in the board view, I can define if I want to go ahead and create some buckets. And so I do here, should see something on, where is it? There we go. Okay, so I can create buckets. And like I said, buckets are just categories that you can put a task into. In this thing, I could say, you know, pre-planning bucket. Maybe I want like a bucket for pre-planning for an event, and I want a bucket that is where it's like an event bucket. Like, you know, so in this case, we're planning for the North Carolina AI Summit. There's some pre-planning things that I need to do before. There's things that happen during the event. But you could put whatever you want. You might be working with different departments, different agencies. You might have different, you know, however you want to categorize your plan or your structure, you can do that with those particular buckets. And then if I go ahead and open up a certain task, right, I can now go ahead and place that into a bucket. Actually, feedback collection would be like post event. So if I went here and I go ahead and create a bucket for post, I can say post event, and I can go ahead and now organize these different tasks into these different buckets. And if I wanted to do this quickly, in the board view, it's kind of giving me this, you know, this kind of board where I can see, in this case, this is no bucket. It's going to default to no bucket. But if I go back to my grid view, then I can quickly go ahead and just assign buckets here, like finalize event page. This is going to be pre-planning, room setup and equipment check. This is going to be during the event. Confirm attendee list. So I can go ahead and quickly assign these buckets here because I'm using the grid view. I can also do things like add labels, set priorities. So this is something that like your project manager may want to do if they're in the view, this particular view. Now, because I set due dates, I have a schedule. And so the schedule view is going to give me a calendar view. And this is looking at the calendar for in the M365 group. And the same thing here, like I can double click on any one of these in, and it's gonna take me to the tasks where I can do the task edits if I want to go ahead and assign this as well, or rename this. I can do that. This case, I'm just going to assign this to Jim Morrison, and so Jim Morrison is going to get an email saying that this particular task has been assigned to him. You can also apply filters as well. So I can, so a lot of the different options here, I can do filters. Let's say I'm the boss and I want to look at something that is going to be an important priority. I can filter to those particular things. I can filter, on progress, who is actually, what's not done, who hasn't started yet, what's in progress. We can see because Cindy Lauper started. We can even filter by labels. We've only added one label, so that's the only label. See, we can filter by buckets or by assignment as well. I want to see, if Cindy is being a slacker or not. I can go ahead and I can just filter on this. But all of these different categories, you're able to to go ahead and filter in those particular views. You can also filter things right here with the unscheduled tasks as well. So you have the ability to set these kind of filters here, or these to look at your unscheduled tasks as well. Now, in the end, you also have charts, and charts can be very helpful for understanding where things are on task. So if I go back to my grid and I mark something as let's go and mark something as complete. Okay, so our dry one has been completed, and I go back to my charts here. It's going to show, okay, I have 8 tasks left. So I can see that completed here is green. And this is helpful, right? If I'm the manager, I really don't need necessarily the details. I just want to know how many tasks do I have left. I just want to know how much green do I have in that. And so as people accomplish these different tasks, it's going to give me that. Here I can see that we've got it filtered based on buckets. We have it filtered based on your priority, as well as looking at the different members and seeing who has completed the most amount of tasks. Here we should be able to see, you know, Jim Morrison is the only one that's completed a task right here. So you have these 3 different views, and you also have the same filters that you have in the charts. You can use these same different filters. And again, this is all going to be, it's sending the notification to your email once something has been assigned to you. And you have these same different filters or groups that you can also filter to it as well. I know we just have a couple of minutes here. Does anyone have any questions? I don't think, do they get notified? How do notifications work with comments? I don't think.
If you're tagged into, if you can tag it, then
If you at someone,
yeah, add someone, then you will get a notification.
yeah. Because it's going,
If you're assigned to that particular task, then yes, you're gonna get notification if something changes.
yeah.
In a little lengthy system, that's why I asked for us. Sometimes we get notifications by email, sometimes we don't, and we're trying to figure out what the magic is.
Yeah, I've heard that before with Planner. Any other questions?
Like, I have somebody in my department above me who's using Project. And I feel like we sometimes have to switch back and forth, or there's like, can you explain the connection between Project and Planner?
They're really both separate applications. So Planner is like already comes with your M365 subscription. So you all should probably have like a G5, which is it's like our it's a package of multiple applications that come with Microsoft 365. Whereas Project is like you have to pay another license for it. And so Planner's already include, like you all have Planner. All y'all have Planner. Whereas for Project, you have to make an additional purchase and then assign the license to you to be able to use it. So it's a separate project, or a separate product, and really designed. Project can do all this and more. So this is like, yeah, Planner was kind of developed to be like a real easy, something like, like people that are project managers for a living, they live and die in the Microsoft project. Planner is something to where maybe you're not like a project manager, but sometimes we all have to manage projects even though we're not a PM officially, right? And so Planner is kind of a much more quicker, easier tool to use to manage a product. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, so you would have to integrate it with Outlook. You would have to go into Outlook, and then you would have to. This is going to take me a hot minute to do. So I'd have to go to my team.
Do you have to have the latest version?
No, you're just doing this. I'm in the web right here. So any M36, so every team creates an M365 group. Every M365 group has its own calendar. It has a mailbox, it has a calendar. You can sync those events to your calendar. And the way that you do that, you have to do that in Outlook under groups here. So let me see if I can find it. Sometimes it takes but so this right here, let's see, it's going to be under groups. So yeah, here we go. Let me see. And then I go to, so this is going to the group. Let me see how to integrate. It's been a hot minute since I've done this. But if you go to, you would do it in Outlook. So in Outlook, there should be a section for groups. I'm in OneDrive, you're right. Sorry. Maybe an Outlook. That's the problem. Yeah. So in Outlook, no, this is a good question because like it's how there's different ways to do it. So Outlook, I'm gonna want to go to my group, and my group is gonna be here. Cool to do. Where is it? Can't see it.
All the way.
This it? I can't see that. Let's say groups. That it? Oh yeah, here we go. So I have to go to the group settings here. And then there's an option here that you can sync it with your calendar. But I have to find the I have a lot of groups. So I have to find my NC. See, what is it called? NC Devo. I think that's what's the name of my team? It's called NC Innovation Demo. So if I go to groups here and I find NC Innovation Demo, this is where you go to add it. Because like TI. Way it finds it. Sometimes it's difficult to find the groups, but if you with any M365 group, if I select the group and then I go under these settings here, I can say receive all email and events, and there you go. That'll sync. It's just taking me a minute to find it. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, because think of an M365 group, right? Think of it like it's like a DL, a distribution list. We've all sent it. If I click this button, now it's going to act like a DL. It's going to just pipe those emails into my inbox. The other way is I can just add that mailbox, or I can add that calendar to my Outlook, and then I've got two different calendars. That's another way to do it as well. You have another question?
So what if you just
Well, for Planner, it's going to create an M365 group, which is a team. So you could go into Planner. So if I just went into Planner and I create new plan, it's going to create an M365 group. Now, if I wanted to, I could go to Teams later on and then add teams to it. But generally speaking, I think the best way to use Planner is just do it in Teams because you're probably already have a team created. And then because Teams also gives you chatting and gives you all these other like collaborative capabilities, in my opinion, the best way to use Planner is just use it in a team, but you don't have to. You could just create a plan and just have that as well. But to me, things like chatting and stuff like that and creating team meetings, I think are important.
Does it have to be its own team or could it be a channel within a team that already exists?
You can put a plan as a tab in a channel, but it's gonna, when you do that, it's gonna use the membership of that team. Yeah.
Is that what Zoom out?
No, you can use it in Classic. Yeah, Groups has been around for years.
printing on the side, like.
It has to do with how the team site is set up, because those are all linked to like.
Yeah, these are M365 groups. Yep.
So you can create this under groups, but they aren't linked to a 365.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have the ability to do that.
No, you can. Yeah, so whatever, yeah, because an M365 group does like what a distribution list, but way more. It gives you a lot more collaborative capabilities. Because you've got a SharePoint site, you have a team, you've got a calendar, a group calendar, it spins up all those things. And so if you want to use it as a team, you want to use it in a Power BI workspace, you want to use it in a planner, you can do all those different things. But on the back end, the main thing that ties it together is an M365 group. Any other questions? You guys finding any of this stuff useful? This stuff helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where can I find video showing how to sync Outlook? Do you guys have those resources?
Yeah, there's probably, I could look up like our documentation or our help. You could also just ask Copilot to say like, hey, give me step by step instructions on how to sync
Perfect.
it. That's another
Alright.
thing you can do. But yeah, we have documentation that you can get. Yeah,
Okay.
in our support articles.
How do you transcribe a Teams meeting and where does it save that transcript?
So it saves the way you transcribe a Teams meeting is in the meeting, you just click on, it says like record and transcribe and you click transcribe. And it saves it to whoever clicks record, it saves it to their OneDrive. Yeah, but it shares it to everybody in the meeting. And so even if you weren't the one to click transcribe, you can still access the transcription and you can still use Copilot and use it that way. Yeah. Good question. Any other questions? Is it a lot of information today? It's like,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.